What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Lethal. So we have a lot to talk about here. We have this new Gambit raid, and we are going to go over what it's going to be like, what's required, when it's going to start, this wildcard system they have in place, and how really unreal this raid is. It is pretty crazy. Some of these boss nodes are going to be pretty hard with the required traits, and then I'll just talk a little bit about what I think and about the new raid and some of the milestones, and so yeah. And always remember, guys, details are subject to change. All right, you guys, here we go. So there is quite a lot to talk about in this post, so we are going to do our best to do this in basically as timely of a manner as possible. So right here, beginning on June 15th at 5 o'clock Pacific time, which is my time. So basically next Wednesday at soft reset, the Gambit raid's going to run for 14 days. It will be replacing the slot that Greek raid runs, and the Greek raids will return after the Gambit raid. So that's good. That's good to know that we're not going to be having to deal with 3 raids at once. I mean, that a lot of people are already upset about too much screen time. They actually want things to be taken out of the game, so that's good. And then alliances will be able to start a new version every 24 hours, and it will have its own unique raid keys for this event. Okay, so they will have separate raid keys for 14 runs. Okay, so similar to other raids, it will have specific trait requirements. So here is basically the club suite. That's what it's like, a club suite trait requirement. You have diamonds, clubs, hearts, and spades. All this, all this are the suits. I'm sorry, the suits. All the suits for cards, basically. There's quite a bit of characters in here that to go over. So Dorky Dad has a tier list video that is going to be coming out for each one of these lists: diamonds, clubs, hearts. So make sure you check out his videos as he releases them. He's going to be doing it over the next couple days. They're going to be really, really important for you for deciding what characters you want to take into this new raid and why. It will vary from player to player, but what I'm going to suggest for you is saving your resources, bringing up the characters you have for the time, or bringing in the characters that you have for the time being, because like I said, it's going to vary for each person. So, some people are going to have Strife done and some people are going to have Magic done. It's just all going to depend. But if you read this, you can kind of get an idea. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you check out his videos. It's going to be super, super helpful. I was watching him earlier today on Twitch. And so what we learned is basically the biggest problem area here is going to be clubs. The clubs is going to be the hardest spot. It's due to the characters that you have to use on the boss nodes that could randomly show up, such as Infinity Watch. And if they show up with the required characters you have to use in clubs, you're going to be in trouble. Even if you have these characters, I mean, super high level, because not a lot of these characters are going to have a lot of synergy with each other. So again, make sure you check out those videos, and make sure you use MSF GG to help you plan your strategy as well. So now there is going to be new energy refills, so we will have new energy resources. So don't worry about hoarding other raid energy from the other raids, because it's not going to work. It won't matter. So here is the diagram for the raid. So as you can see on these outside lanes, you have on the corner, you have diamond, and then you have hearts over here. You start down here. This is obviously the starting point. So you're going to start with dart right here. So this, what I'm assuming is this is lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, lane 5, and lane 6. And so you're going to have 2 floaters. I'm assuming there's going to be 3 strike teams, just like the other raids. So you're probably going to have 2 floaters on each team. And so you're going to, you'll work that out with your captains and your alliance. But so the biggest problem that we are starting to find out is going to be somewhere around here with the clubs. But it looks like you're going to be able to use, let's see, I think it's this one right here, where it's just clubs, because this is going to be, I think it's 4 wild cards, which we'll explain in just a minute. So yeah, it's going to be a doozy. I can tell you that for sure. So here's another player path breakdown. This just so this right here is going to show you what the nodes are associated for what teams you're going to be fighting. So let's go over that for a second. So here we go. So alternating enemy teams. So one of the features in this raid is basically going to be you have one of 3 teams that could show up on these nodes. So for nodes M1 through M3, you could be facing any one of these 3 teams, any one. So at random. So every 24 hours that the raid resets, every time the raid is launched, you know, it could be Brotherhood that time, or it could be Heroes for Hire that time. You really don't know who it's going to be. And so for, let's say this is Diamond. So you're going to have Diamond characters to fight against Heroes for Hire, Wakanda, or Brotherhood. So if you come up here to Diamond, these are actually some decent characters. Again, we were watching Dorky Dad separate some of these characters into tiers, and so you know, there are some good characters in here. You know, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Dr. Voodoo. If you don't have Dr. Voodoo and Morbius geared up, you're probably going to want to gear them up. Gambit, Dazzler, Sunfire, Magic, and Colossus, I believe, was going to be a B-rated team of his. So you definitely want to check that out. It'll really help you out for sure. Like I said, it gets very detailed. I'm not going to get super detailed into it because there's a lot going on in this post. So make sure you check out his videos. Okay, so then down here, as you can see, it goes on. So M4 through M6, you have Mutant and Human, Fantastic Four, Merc, and Spider-Verse. So on and so forth. Now, as you get down to these right here, these are the boss nodes. That's why it says MB12. So you have a boss node. So wherein there lies the problem with the clubs that I was talking about. So if Infinity Watch pops up on, let's see, it's MB3, right? So we have MB3. So MB3 right here in the center. Okay, so it's going to be these two. So you're going to have hearts and clubs to use, which is going to be these characters right here. So if you're facing Infinity Watch, a lot of these characters are going to struggle against a full Infinity Watch team. Now, we don't know how the characters are going to drop down into the node. We don't know if it's going to be 3 of the Infinity Watch members and you're going to have a chance to try and take 1 or 2 of them out before Adam Warlock drops down or Gamora drops down, or it could be the whole team all at once. We really don't know until the raid happens. So, anything could really happen. But again, it looks like the club nodes are going to be the hardest due to the characters. These characters are kind of trash, a lot of them, and a lot of them don't have synergy with each other. So these two, I'm gonna try to be using Star-Lord and Yondu. Yondu, I'm probably gonna have to dump some resources into, but again, I would definitely hold off until later. Try the raid out, see how it goes, see what difficulty your alliance decides to do before you go dumping a huge amount of resources into these characters. I do think it's going to depend on how important you think Gambit is and unlocking Gambit. There is a lot of subjective information out there about how good Gambit is. A lot of people are upset with Gambit that he's not what he was supposed to be. So a lot of people might not care about this raid as much. So it's all going to depend. It's all going to vary from player to player. And so, so that's how it's going to go for the nodes. It's going to be totally random. And then the last boss is going to be Gambit. I doubt it's going to be just Gambit. It's going to be Gambit and enemies. I doubt it'll be just Gambit. So it's going to be pretty crazy. So here's the next twist that I wanted to talk about. So as you advance, you're going to what's going to get added is combat modifiers. So as you progress through the nodes, different sections of the raid will add special rules, basically scourges. It's like a mini scourge for combats that will stack on top of each other as you get further down the lane. So it's going to add additional challenges for sure, and theory crafting. Theory crafting, yeah, with the characters they gave us. Theory crafting, right? Good old Scopely, right? For example, on M1 through M3, there's only one combat modifier. So we're going to come over here to MSFGG. Again, this is why I definitely recommend 100% MSFGG. You know, they're now an official API of Marvel Strike Force, so you should definitely link your account with them. So if you come over here down to M1 through M3, as you can see, there is what's called a wild card, or or a scourge. And so basically, when a character blocks, they have a stun applied to them, and so that's going to last for the first 3 nodes. So that's not a huge one. Now, it can be a problem for some characters that block heavy. For example, Cap Sam, he blocks a lot. So if you bring in Cap Sam, and I'm just using him as an example. I'm not saying you can even use him on the node. I'm just using him as an example. That could be a problem. So make sure that, you pay attention to what these, scourges or wild cards are. Now, as they continue down the lane, they start to stack up on top of each other. So now, as you can see here, we have 2 of them. So now when an enemy takes damage, they gain speed up for 2 turns. So every time you hit an enemy, boom, they have speed up. Every time a character blocks, a stun's applied to them. So now you're having to deal with both of those. The speed up one is going to be quite troublesome, especially for this clubs node right here. Man, yeah, like I said, this raid's going to be pretty unreal, you guys. It's going to be pretty crazy. I definitely recommend starting at a lower difficulty than a higher difficulty. That's what I think. So yeah, and then by the time you finally get all the way down here to the end, you have all 4 of these stacked up on you. I don't know if the boss node has 5. Let's see. No, that's not. This is the boss node right here. No, so it just goes to 4. So basically all 4 of them open raise. Basically, when a character gains stealth, they gain taunt. So stealth does nothing. Darkhold, their little stealth thing, that's not going to do anything. Miles, Spider-Man, or I'm sorry, yeah, Miles, that's not going to do anything. Enemies generate 1 additional ability energy each time they generate ability energy. So every time ability energy is generated, so man, if you have Death Pool in there, generating ability energy, oh my gosh, what a nightmare that would be. Generating mystic ability energy or something like that. So that's going to be a nightmare. And then all enemy specials and ultimates have a reduced energy cost of 1. So that means they're going to be, obviously using their specials and their ults a lot more. And then when a player character uses their ultimate ability, all enemies gain 1 ability energy. Isn't that nice? Oh man, it's going to be pretty crazy. And so as you can see, all of these nodes are going to be different. So it all varies from node to node. All of these basically, I'm going to just, scourges, that's what they are. They're basically scourges. So you're going to want to make sure that you go through and you understand what these ones are, what characters you have to use on these nodes, find out what these are and try and go from there how you're going to approach this, because it's going to take a little bit of thinking. Now, one thing that I was thinking about with this is, they were telling us, basically that we're supposed to be getting a streamlined version of, the Greek raids and the raids. And now here they are giving us another raid. Hopefully this is just something temporary. I don't know if this is going to be something permanent, something they start implementing more and more. I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, man, that's even more screen time. A lot of people have quit the game due to more screen time. So hopefully this is just a temporary, something they do, from time to time. It's not something they do all the time. I really, really still hope that they give us some type of sim button or streamlined way to do the Greek raids. The Greek raids are just a complete auto fest for me. They're totally boring. They're boring. I wish we didn't have to worry about them. We could just, sim through them. That would be great. So yeah. So there are going to be difficulties. So you have your normal difficulty, and then you have +9. They will all be unlocked at the start of the event. So no, you do not have to start at 1 and clear your way 100% 1 through 9. You can start wherever you want. Although I still recommend starting at a lower difficulty, as we don't know how this is all going to play out. We don't know, it could be easy to get through. Some of these teams, these boss nodes, you know, we don't know how these characters are going to drop down. You know, what if, you know, for example, you know, Black Order and Thanos, oh, that could be a problem, right? You know, so, but maybe you have 4 Black Order members, 3 Pimtech members, and you have a chance to try to take out a couple of the Black Order members before Thanos drops down and becomes empowered with the Infinity Watch or the Infinity Glove, you know, or the Gauntlet. So, you know, we really don't know until the raid actually happens. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. And then the rewards. So the rewards are as follows. On this event, there's going to be valuable prizes. So Scopely says, individual node rewards is going to give out raid credits, gold, and points for the associated raid, Ace of Raids milestone. So there will be a milestone event attached to this specific raid, and points for the normal raid season milestones. The rank rewards are going to include gold fragments, which is good. I always need gold, definitely. And of a special orb that drops Gambit shards. So that's cool. Wait, rank rewards will include gold. Oh, and fragments of a special orb that it drops Gambit shards. Okay. So, and points for Ace of Raids. Okay. So first time completion rewards are available, include T2 level 1 ions. Yeah, whatever. I have a ton of blue orbs to open, and so I'm like over 1 million T2 ions right now, so or something crazy. So it's like, yeah, whatever. These are really the ones that I'm focused on. The T2 L4 ions. I brought up Doom to T2 L4, and man, it made a huge difference. It gave him a nice little health jump, and it made him annoying. So definitely this is where I'm gonna be looking towards. Yeah, you definitely want to be trying to take your characters up to that, especially the big characters: Eternals, Surfer, Doom, Dormammu, MLF. Definitely T2 L4. So again, the milestone event, it's going to be a 7-day milestone event that's going to repeat once. So basically within the 14 days, it will repeat over once. That's going to grant rewards, which will give you more character shards for Gambit, disco balls for the Roland Rebel milestone, T4 ability mats, which is good because I need ability mats right now pretty bad too. And the second run of the milestone will include the coveted Glimmer bracelet. I actually just got the earrings, I think the day before yesterday, so that'll be cool to finish up some more milestones. Yeah, so we got that to look forward to, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna go. Again, we'll just have to kind of see what happens. I'm always skeptical. I think that people should go into the event assuming that there's going to be bugs and that, Scourges are not going to work the way intended, or what are these, the wild cards? Maybe some of these wild cards might not work as intended. Definitely expect bugs. Nothing works perfect the first time, right? And so here, if you're wondering what the rank rewards are going to be, they are right here in MSF GG. You can look at them right here. So at 30%, at 0%, you basically get nothing. At 30%, here's your rank 1 through 24 rewards. So basically, these are all pretty valuable as far as I'm concerned. I already paid for Gambit. Basically, it's going to come down to how important is Gambit to you. Do you really, 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 really want to get Gambit? Again, people are not happy with the way he turned out. A lot of people are upset with Gambit and the Unlimited X-Men. People are really banking on Rogue to make Gambit a lot better. So we're just going to have to see what happens when Rogue comes out. So yeah, some of these rewards are pretty decent. It doesn't vary. It doesn't vary a whole lot from 60% to 100%. So as you can see, 375 playing cards, 340 playing cards. So only 35 more. I don't really know how much that is going to be in the scheme of things as far as the milestone is concerned. It's going to depend on how many points is required for each milestone, and how much you get. And so I don't know if this is a lot necessarily. It could be, it might not be. So I really don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So I would definitely make sure that you come through here, read this yourself, try and get prepared for the event as much as you possibly can be. Maybe start making a couple teams, setting a couple teams up. I'm sure that there will end up being some sort of save squads tab that we will get for maybe new raids or you know, or this raid. That would be nice. But I would definitely try to set up some teams for this. So yeah, that's about it, you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for everything you do. Make sure if you're not coming on Twitch and following me over there that you do so. I'm on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I hope to see you guys there. I love you guys, everybody. Stay lethal.